bit of error on my side, but
All right. So you see Kanye, you see Kim cuz broke up with the Pete Jr. Lil
yeah, I
Pete.
thought that was fantastic because now all that fuck Pete shit's not going to be as confusing for me.
Do you think he was a bad look for Pete? Like the name Pete? Do you think? I mean, it was pretty outstanding things said about Pete Davidson.
Yeah, I personally, having not represented the name particularly well myself, can't speak too loudly about it, but I thought he did a terrible job.
Who's the greatest Peter of all time? Peter that was with Jesus?
He's right up there. He's probably number one. The greatest Pete is obviously going to be Maravich, and the character Peter Clemenza from The Godfather I thought did as well.
No, no Pete Rose up in the top five Pete's.
Oh yeah,
Pete
well
Rose
yeah.
was
What did
gone.
Pete Rose? But then he also had that Charlie Hustle thing going. That's kind of like being a member of the Rose Gold community and dyeing your hair black.
That's true. That's true. Peter Rabbit, no. Nah.
No, Peter Rabbit, Cottontail, all those bunny things have to roll. The pumpkin eating gentleman also
Pete Buttigieg.
the worst. The worst.
Buttigieg gonna take your fade. What if Buttigieg lined you up? Like he was like, I need that fade, Pete.
Then I hope he kills me. It will be a fight to the death because I want to kill him and I don't want to survive if I lose.
Oh man.
It'll be
So
like the
now
end of the
Kim,
Karate Kid 2, where the guy's like, live or die, man, and the
die.
Japanese guy's like, die, yeah, but
That's
I'll meet it.
you.
Yeah.
If Buttigieg whipped your ass, he just kill me, man. Because
Yeah.
I would have 1,000 jokes and shit.
You're just saving me having to walk up a million flight of stairs to jump off a building. Let's just do it here.
All right, look. So Kim is back on the market. Kim is back
Yay.
on the market.
Hooray.
Does Jay take her back?
As him or as me thinking for him?
Okay, does Ye take her back in Ye's mind? No. Your shit with you in Ye's mind would be way more intriguing. So if you're the little man on Ye's shoulder,
yeah,
what are you telling Ye?
For once in your life, will you fucking listen to me? Would be my opening line.
Okay.
And if I get his attention, even a slight nod, I'll say, don't even fucking think about it.
Okay, now if he's ignoring you like always, hey, we should make that a skit. That should be like your skit. Like we should do a skit where it's me and you on each shoulder,
Yeah.
and I'm trying to tell him to do something right, and you tell him to do something wrong.
That would be easy to just do the podcast like that, where instead of having the border, we just have like half of Kanye's head in the middle, separating the screen.
It might be a cool production bit from here on out.
Yeah.
Like we should do that once a month where we give advice to one person, but we have to be on the opposite end of the no, we don't. We could actually keep it a bean. Okay, so now what is Kanye gonna do? Because he's ignoring you.
Hopefully he does something that involves hiding in the bushes in her driveway again. And then this time just makes it into the house. Like
So
a successful.
so you're saying he takes her back.
Man, after all this shit, if he doesn't, he's the kind of guy who has to throw good money after bad, so he might as well.
No ceilings. G Lo, my man Peter and his Spizot. We going his eye. So you don't see no value in having a wife. There's no value in having a wife.
Define value.
Okay, so there's a real definition of worth and value, but let me tell you my definition.
Yeah.
So worth is personal, like personal appraisal.
Yeah. Like subjectively, Just me.
Personal, right?
Yeah.
Personal, like the owner and the actual product itself, the worth. And then I would like to believe the value is the perception of appraisal. So
Yeah.
worth is self and personal appraisal. Value is, you know,
The market.
the market itself.
Gotcha.
That's what I like to believe, those two words. And that's going to be
That's fair.
Glass's definition of worth and value.
That's fair.
So when I'm asking you about worth personally, does a wife have any, where would you appraise a wife at in having a wife?
From the objective market value
No,
standpoint,
no, no,
there.
no.
Oh
No. See,
no.
now you finna go into a community. I'm saying
Oh,
you
just for
and the wife.
me.
So it would have to be personally, you appraising having the perfect wife. Not a perfect woman, but the perfect wife.
God. You mean the second most perfect wife, and the second most perfect wife would be on the near side of the threshold of not existing at all.
Sure. The
Cool.
second most perfect wife.
All right. Um. Honestly, the only worth that a wife would have to me is on occasion, like if you have to be accountable to somebody else to get up and go do something you don't want to do, you're more likely to do it than if it's just about you doing it for yourself on a bad day.
That's fair. And
That's
that was real.
Yeah, that's the only value. There's no other value.
So just somebody to be accountable to.
Yeah.
No other appraisal, like you
No.
couldn't couldn't
Not even
value
close.
them more than that.
No. I wouldn't even know hypothetically what to pretend to value them at
So
besides
as
that.
a wife, you have no appreciation for the live-in.
No, that's a negative. That's not a positive sell.
Why is that a negative thing to have somebody that lives in that cooks for you?
Because I can't guarantee they're gonna cook something that I want all the time, for one. For two, they're taking up space. They're in my shit. They're always fucking there. That just sounds awful.
What if she cooked all of the things you want her to cook?
What's the difference between the cost benefit that I'd hire a cook, for fuck's sake? Because I can cook. I can
How
cook
much is
everything I want to
wait a
cook.
minute. How much is a cook?
How much is a wife?
I don't
A
know. I
cook's
think a cook might be cost more than a wife.
If you got a wife that don't work, the cook is cheaper.
No, because any adult cuz has to take care of themselves. So you taking care of yourself is you taking care of you pretty much you might get in excess of $2,000 a month because you have to pay, like as an adult, right? As men, grown men, right? We pretty much take care of ourselves. So
That's
let's
right.
say at the worst case scenario, well, at the least case scenario, you giving your wife $500 a week. That's what it's costing you outside of the normal things you would have to pay for, right? Yes, there's a little bit more food. Yes, there's a couple more things, but out of the you could get a maid, and I don't want to compare a wife to a maid because they really are, but I don't want to disrespect the maid.
Wait, I'm sorry. Did you say because they really are? That wasn't a typo. I didn't. Well, I just want to make sure that the teleprompter didn't glitch.
Women go talk shit, but this is. I was telling the homegirl at Van Lathan show at did you see it? It's higher learning. Hold up.
Mm-hmm.
Let me hold up. Because I'm bad. Rachel. I was telling Rachel, she was talking about our podcast and she was talking about you. I had did higher learning. It hasn't came out yet. And I was telling her, and she was tripping off of us. And I was saying, this is honestly what men really think. Now, you have the version of what men think, that's out there. Like right now, you have men like posturing over Irv Gotti's interview with Noriega on Drink Champs, where they're upset because he's literally expressing how he feels slighted by his ex, his ex-girl and this talent he put on in the music business, right? Which is Ashanti. And he's pretty much voicing it. You could tell his disdain for her and how he feels. He feels a certain way. His heart is broken. It's obvious, right? And you got dudes like, oh, that was some sucker shit and blah 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 and this, that, and the third. And I'm like, look, I fancy myself a player, right? Not a player like I have multiple girls, a player in a sense of I'm not going to always show you my emotions, but I'm not dissing anybody who does. Like, this is a very unhealthy way of living that I live. It's unhealthy in the way that even in my situation, it's not like I don't deal with my feelings or internalize them. I don't externalize them. So I'm not worried if you're concerned. I deal with them and I read and I deal with them how I deal with them. Right. I contend with them and I make decisions based off how everything is coming to me. And I don't think it's nothing horrible about men who externalize their emotions, right? They're just different.
It just
And
depends
he
on
was
what outcome you want.
externalizing his emotions after drinking on Drink Champs. And people was like, oh, he's blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. And you could tell they were really caping to women. Like, they were just like trying to say what
Of
they
course,
feel
what is
women want
with
to
that
hear.
shit now? When did
Yeah,
that
I
start
hate
being a
this whole
goddamn
pussy
thing?
ass shit.
Fuck.
It's fucking horrible, bro. And it's
Ugh.
like, Ashanti wouldn't talk to a person like you. You're a fucking loser. She don't want no nice. That's why she's talking to fucking Irv Gotti in the first place.
Yeah.
Feel me? Don't nobody respect no sucker like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, no nigga. So, long story short, he's externalizing his emotions in his interview. But back to I digress. The point I was making to you is this no ceilings is about honest conversations. You know what I mean? Like, the whole premise of no ceilings was having these conversations about, we inside of a mountain. It's about going in unlit caves from an urban perspective. And then you've been in some of these tunnels with some people that's from the community, but you still very much are, to some level, and actually at all, you're not even a mainstream person, but that was the idea. You're a mainstream person who understands. That's the premise of No Ceilings. These very uncomfortable conversations about life. You know what I mean? So I was explaining that to Rachel and I was telling her, so even in this conversation, most men feel like women are live-in maids, live-in sex slaves, that's the concept of marriage. That's why in theory you are willing to put the old ball and chain on your ankle. You know what I mean?
And that's why so many men sleep with their maids, because it's a confusing dynamic.
That's true.
Shout out to Arnold Schwarzenegger.
That's true. So when I'm saying, I don't mean it to be insulting women, Rachel, if you're listening to this podcast, I'm not. I'm saying this is the perspective, right? So if you take care of all the bills you take care of, right? Normally as an adult that take care of themselves, a woman, if you give your old lady $500 a month, let's say $500 a week, she don't work, you know what I mean? But she don't have no bills, no responsibilities. You give her $500 a week, okay? And to get a maid, a chef, and a sex slave is going to cost you. So you're giving her the $2,000 a month, right? Then you pay whatever bill. You got a couple extra, come to about
It's not
$1,000.
a sex
It's
slave.
gonna cost you more than $3,000.
Yeah, but you're certainly not going to get.
Yeah, obviously you're not
all
gonna get
these
a maid.
things.
You're not gonna get a chef, and you're definitely not gonna get a sex slave.
Yeah, you're not going to get any of those things. It's interesting, and you're compromising an awful lot.
What are you really compromising?
Opportunity cost is the off the books expense.
What's the opportunity?
Other things, your time,
Like,
your personal enjoyment, other women, peace of mind, all sorts of interesting, valuable things.
yeah, but can't you work it out with a woman and have other women?
Yeah, those are usually called divorces. And that's when you pay on the back end for all that discount cooking you've been enjoying the last several years while paying for also.
Okay.
So,
okay.
it's a bit of, look, it depends on the person. Some people really, really need companionship to function. And for that, there's more worth there, you know. I'm always a little bit
You're a market guy.
Well, yeah, but like just on a human side, like I think marriages that do well, you usually it's you get married when you're young enough to not know the world outside of your marriage,
Yeah,
or you got married when you're old enough to not care about the world outside of your marriage, you know?
I actually agree with the latter.
And I think if you get married at 30,
When you know about, I've said that, like, it's tough to really be married when you know the wonders of other women. Like, I
yeah.
think it's easier when you've never been with another woman. You know what I mean? It's easier when you never been with another woman and you don't know what you're, the concept of what you're missing, right? You don't
Yeah.
know that. So marriage is easier, and it's easier when you older and you've seen it all.
Mhm.
Like now you're not seeing anything you're not gonna see.
Yeah, I think if it's like 22 is a good age to get married, 42 is a good age to get married, 32 is not a good age to get married.
I don't know. I don't know if 22 is even the age no more. I think it need to be like 19 or 20 because
Yeah, they
women is off
probably
the
need to go
court
back to that
really
arranged
bad.
shit where you're young.
Yeah, you need to get it done because if you, it's the comparison game. So
Yeah,
so okay, so you're saying the worth of women to you, the worth of a wife to you is very low.
very low.
Um, where do you think wives are right now in just value market?
They're high. A lot of that has to do with perception. I mean, a lot, you kind of in a lot of ways. I mean, like for example, it's not terribly dissimilar to you citing, gentlemen or other multiple people that you would know in the past who thought that they were if they slept with a woman you slept with, they're on your level. There's a certain element to like if you have ambitions of being perceived in a professional circle or a social circle a certain way, your spouse can either enhance that or it can work the other way. Then it can detract
Mm,
from that. So there can be value there. Um,
like most presidents, pretty much all presidents have been married, right?
boy, yeah, it'd be uh, slim pickings to find one that hasn't been. I don't know if there has been one.
Um, does Kim, and I don't want to gossip about them, cuz do you think Kim brings a market share value to Kanye?
Yes.
Where specifically?
Um, it it broadens his brand to a degree. And timing and alternative considerations matter. Like before her, he was with that Amber Rose girl, right? That doesn't do much for him. It's not.
If you're going to be married, sure, I get it.
Yeah. I think that like now he's kind of simultaneously gotten further into like say more of a high fashion type of environment whilst also pairing with the Kardashian brand which has a footprint in that industry.
Well,
So
what's weird is somebody told me that, and I had to explain to them they didn't have any footprint in high fashion. They literally were jokes in high fashion before Kanye. Like they didn't. What's funny is people when I was coming up, what I mean, for a while, Kim is not that old, but I'm saying they were jokes in the industry. Like people kind of looked at them as cheap knockoffs until Kanye. Kanye brought the value of high. Kanye has always been, you know, smiled at in high fashion until it came to starting his own business. Once he started trying to start it, that's when he started having problems. But
yeah,
when he was just a fan and a consumer, like he was getting invited to all of the looks, and she wasn't. I mean, she was kind of frowned upon. They looked at them as because they are like a. Forgive me, this is gonna sound bad. I don't mean no disrespect to y'all family. I'm not dissing. I'm saying like they were cheap.
yeah,
They didn't represent wealth or like royalty. They was just like
yeah,
this family who got put on because their dad was like a third or fourth chair in a huge murder trial, and The new husband was a Olympic medalist that nobody cared about the specific sport, and your daughter slept with multiple. She was popular for being what socially people would refer to kind of as promiscuous. And then the Ray J
Yeah.
tape came out, and that really put the blast on the Kardashian name. So they were looked at as cheap until they got with Ye, and Ye is always was considered a brilliant person within the creative spaces.
Mm.
So it's weird because I think they do get a lot of credit. I think as a wife, she got a lot of credit for things that just are 117% not true. But I do agree they are mainstays in mainstream, like to another level to where it's like almost unbelievable how much they are mainstays in mainstream America. So it did kind of it went from him just being just a rapper, or a popular, tastemaker to some degree outside of just being a dope hip hop artist, and it kind of locked him into mainstream completely unique than where he was at initially.
Yeah, and it's difficult to consider both of the two arcs of their endeavors independently once they're no longer independent. Like the Kardashian
Yeah.
machine was accelerating either which way, and they had the younger daughters coming out. Like there was some snowballing that was starting to happen there, and then she gets tied up with Kanye. So it's like I remember. I think before that, when she first started her little show, she had like some little fragrance thing, but that was like the first deal. And then they're doing makeup, and now they're doing this, and so there's like this
Yeah,
constant, and it's
and now they're showing up at all the galas, but post
yeah,
Kanye. Um, but and I have a song called Kanye Should Have Never Married That Bitch. Obviously, people that listen to this podcast, you know this, right? But now that they already passed that place, right, and that cautionary tale has been avoided, right?
Are you saying that there's potential for a remix?
I thought about that. Is the reality, you know, it's his family now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like now, like you've already went past it. Now this motherfucker that made a fool out of you, feel me? But she got your children. You know what I mean? And as a
Yeah.
black man in America, it's really important that we are as much as possible involved in our children's life because we already got a ton of bad, shit going on to where if we a little bit removed, shit can just happen. I mean, it can happen fucked up when we there, but it's way easier to get into it when we're not there. And
Yeah.
so, like, he's almost at a position to where he's so deep into it where he almost has to go back with his old lady. You know what I mean? And I still would say no, but because of his positioning in life, he can't just see the world the way I see it. He sees it in a broader spectrum, honestly. You know what I mean? Like he always
Mhm.
has. He's a really talented guy, really masterful. You know what I'm saying? So I was just thinking about that. Like, damn, is her worth to him? Like, what does she bring to him? And I think what her worth is to him as a wife, right, is she becomes his living mannequin. Like like Kanye's wife, was his living mannequin. He could dress her up in all of his fashion design ideas, you know what I mean, and have a
Yeah.
mannequin that he could show up with that he knew was everybody looked at this mannequin. You know what I mean? And she could show up and be this living, walking, speaking mannequin that's pretty much styled and the creative, influence of Kanye in his full power. So her worth for him is through the roof. You know what I mean? That to me, that's what's crazy is to me more than anything, she became his live-in. She is the most popular. Now, people don't give her credit for this, and even I don't at times, but really thinking about it, she's probably the the most popular model in the world. You know what I mean? Like there's
Mhm.
people that just model that are popular, but
Yeah.
she is literally the most popular, model in the world. So
Yeah. I mean,
it
her
makes
shit's turned into
sense.
the
I can
Oprah
see,
book club thing.
huh?
Like her name association has turned into like the Oprah book club factor.
Yeah, yeah. So I get why, you know what I mean? She has a huge worth for him
Yeah.
as his wife. You know what I'm saying? Because she becomes the perfect mannequin for him to create creative ideas and for people to admire. Um, her value is different, and that's the thing.
Yeah.
Like this is a situation to where, like somebody got a car that really don't have a huge value. Like I don't think it's 1,000 men around the country that would really marry Kim. I think they will, but they wouldn't be of special to her. They wouldn't be of her status. Like, you know what I mean? It'd be people she like bringing up. But it's a tough situation. So I think this is the perfect example of where somebody's worth is superb as a wife, but then her value is completely different.
Yeah. I think for him personally, like from his actual like lifestyle worth, he's a pretty eccentric guy. I don't think anybody would describe him as the poster boy for emotional stability. And I think that because he's like such an like eccentric, artsy minded person all the time, she probably gives him enough of something else to worry about to where he doesn't get buried into these weird mental or emotional wormholes so off mainstream
Not
that he
not
starts.
wanting to not wanting to embarrass her.
Yeah, or he just doesn't
So,
have the
so
time. Like if it takes you 3 hours to like, you know how you could like YouTube and then you watch another video that's recommended
yeah,
and another one and another one, and then before you know it, you're watching some weird shit.
yeah.
If she interrupts him and turns off the YouTube every 30 minutes, then he doesn't get that weird.
And I definitely think it's funny you say that because I definitely think he's a lot more under control for the fear of not embarrassing her. Because women,
Mm,
the one thing I realize about women, they don't want to be embarrassed. Their number one fear of all fears is being embarrassed.
yes.
It's just
Whip.
embarrassed.
A woman would probably rather that her husband find out she was cheating than the neighborhood.
Yeah,
Not probably. I don't think that's even close.
yeah,
Probably.
yeah.
At some point, it would be, oh my God, Bill, you weren't supposed to find out. But could you do me a favor, not tell anybody?
That's really how we go, though, bro. But I'm gonna tell you, I realized something. Insecure women hurt themselves. Insecure men hurt other people.
Mm,
Like so, a really insecure, damaged person, a woman will hurt herself. She'll go get a BBL. She'll put these crazy pounds of makeup to mess up her skin. She'll wear these crazy shoes and mess up her feet. She'll wear these, what do you call them? Waist trainers that messes up that part and push up all this crazy stuff to hurt herself. You know what I mean? To deny the makeup that denies her skin sun. You know what I mean? The thing that really gives it is glowing exuberance. Men, when they're insecure, they're really, severely insecure or hurt, they go out and ruin everybody else. And I was
mm,
thinking to myself, what's worse? And somebody was telling me that they felt it was worse for the man, but Nipsey quoted somebody, and I forgot the person he quoted, so I'm gonna give him credit for this quote. I've heard it before, but I don't remember where it came from. So Nip reminded me of it. And rest in peace. And it is, would you rather be at peace with yourself and at war with the world versus being at war with yourself and at peace with the world? And that's why I think peace within yourself is more important than peace with the world. There's a balance in real life, but if you had to choose, I think being at peace with yourself is better.
probably, yeah. I, I would like to submit the idea that an insecure woman hurts everybody around her inadvertently, and an insecure man hurts everybody around him advertently. Seems like women will like want to go do whatever the hell they want to do. I need to go find myself or go on this journey to go explore their being at the expense of everybody else around them. Whereas a guy will just be like, fuck everybody else around me. They're going to feel me here and now.
Oh, yeah, I can feel that. But I don't know. I don't think a severely insecure woman, a damaged woman, you know what I mean, hurts other people around her. I think they're always looking to be healed. They just become a lot more selfish. But even
if possible.
But even I don't think they start off like that.
I think like
women are raised and nurtured to give. And I think the experiences on earth, I know when they little they are, man. Women are so, when they're young and they're healthy, women are the most generous in giving people, species, period. You know what I'm saying? They are. But as they go through life, things that they're taught, you feel me, and experiences that they have, realize, oh, I need to have something for myself. I don't think that's their natural nature.
Here's where I disagree. You'll know where I've said it before, but like where I think a woman will, in her pursuit of her own whatever, let's say a married lady with
If you're talking, I cannot hear you. Hello? Is that yours, Peter? Mine. What the hell is going on? I don't know what the fuck happened to Pete microphone, but the more I think about it, I genuinely believe that. The more I think about it, I genuinely believe that women, right, are, they're nurtured, they're born as the most giving species, right? They're superbly generous. I mean, even when they get, easy bake ovens, even when they get easy bake ovens, they're making stuff to give to other people. And I just think the world that we've created at this time, you know what I mean? I just think that turns women into these kind of monsters that we call women today. I mean, they've become like, and that's the point. I think the male species and the female species are both parodies of themselves. You know what I mean? Like they're both parodies of themselves. And hence the dilemma. You know what I'm saying? Hence the issues. More and more, more and more, more and more. Yo.
Man, I don't know what's going on. Somebody like, I don't know if they're doing construction in the building.